Hey guys, we just finished up our organic compounds lab, so I just want to do a little mini lesson on the 4 organic compounds, how we tested them, and how we use them in our bodies, kind of what they look like, and demo them a little bit. All right, so we did a test for a bunch of different things in our labs. We did a protein test, which we used Biuret's solution for, and the positive test with that was little heat, and it would turn lavender on us. We did a simple sugar test, which is a type of carb. And we did that with Benedict's solution here, and that would go yellowy greenish and then to orange if it had a lot of simple sugars in it. And then we use the iodine, which when you put iodine on a starch or a carb, then it's going to turn blue-black immediately. No heat on that. And then the fat test that we did was the old paper bag or cardboard box when you rub it on there and it leaves a little greasy mark. If it leaves a little greasy mark, then it's got fats in it. Now remember, when we do the carbs or the starch test and the simple sugars test, we're testing for the same thing, except this is testing for complex carbohydrates, which we call starches, and this is the real little simple sugars test right here. So they're basically kind of grouped together. There is no test for nucleic acids. We're going to get to that. We're going to have a whole unit on that later. All right, so basically I went out to lunch here, and I'm sorry if this lunch or this lesson makes you hungry. But and I'm going to deconstruct this sub that I'm about to eat. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look at the cookie. Now, you know, you put a cookie in your mouth and it's going to taste sweet. Everybody knows that cookies have lots of sugar in it. Now, sugar is classified as a carbohydrate, but it's really simple. All right, so if I take my model of a carbohydrate, we've been looking at Legos this week. Each one of these pieces, these tan pieces, is a sugar. These are the building blocks of carbohydrates. We just call them simple sugars. Now, if I drink a soda like this or I eat a cookie, chances are there's not much to digest here. You put it in your digestive system, maybe you only need to break one bond and that releases energy. So you get energy really quick from simple sugars because there's nothing to break down or very little to break down. Maybe there's only 2 pieces or so. But when you eat a complex carbohydrate, like this whole wheat bread right here, or pasta or potato, now they look different. They're big, so that when you put this in your digestive system, it takes your body a while. So energy comes off slowly throughout your day. It might take a whole day for this to go through your mouth, in through your esophagus, right? Down your stomach, into your small intestines, and these little pieces are absorbed into your bloodstream. That's called diffusion. And your body takes that to all the places where you need energy. Carbs are all about that energy. Okay, and every time we break a bond, calories are released, and we can use them to do all our daily activities like grow, do our sports, repair ourselves, anything you need to do energy. Just remember, the more energy you take, the more energy you have to burn. And all of these complex carbohydrates will give you energy slowly, and the sugars like this and this, they'll give you your energy fast. So they're basically the same things. You just have to know where they're coming from. All right, the next thing we'll look at in this sub here is we will look at the turkey. All right, so here's my piece of turkey right here. So turkey is meat. Everybody knows meat has high amounts of protein in it. The building blocks for meat or protein are what we call amino acids. So this might be a type of amino acid. And the more amino acids we put together, the bigger our protein is. So that when I put this through my digestive system, we break this apart too. Now, protein still releases energy. It still has calories when you eat it, but your body prefers not to get energy from these bonds, although it can get energy from these bonds. It prefers to get energy from the carbohydrates and sugar bonds. These, when you break them down, are going to go to things in you like building your bones, your skin, your muscles, making enzymes. So proteins, think building. It's all about building, and we use all these amino acids to build it. So when you say you are what you eat, I'm going to eat turkey. I'm going to take turkey meat. I'm going to break it down, and then I can rebuild these into anything I want. Of course, it's going to be part of me then. Okay, and just think building when you think of amino acids and proteins. Now, what else is in this sub? So we got carbs, we got protein. Okay, so now olives. There's oil on this. There's cheese on there. Mostly, that's going to be our fat. All right, so this might be a fat, the gray pieces. The building blocks of fat are called fatty acids and glycerols. So when we put those acids and these glycerols together, we can get a fat. There's two different types of fats. There's saturated fat, which are mostly going to come from animal fats, and those are not great fats for you because they clog our arteries. And then there is unsaturated fats, which are going to be the fats that we usually get from vegetables. So I have saturated fats on here, which are going to come a little bit from the turkey and the cheese, but then there's unsaturated fats from the olive oil that's on here too. So those are good for me. Now fats, when you start breaking down fats, there's tremendous amount of energy in the bonds of fat. In fact, there's almost 2 times the amount of energy in a fat bond than there is carbohydrates or proteins. So it takes your body a little while and it will break down the fats, and you can use these for energy. You can use these for your cell membranes. You can use them to line your nerves and your brain cells with. So even though fats gets a bad rap sometimes, they're still really important for you. You need to make sure you eat them. Just make sure you don't eat too much because there's tons of energy in those fats. All right, so fatty acids and glycerols make up our fats, and they're still really important for us. And there's 2 kinds, saturated and unsaturated fats. And then the last kind of organic compound that is in here, which we can't really see, but it's in every single one of the cells of the food that I'm going to eat. All of the food that I'm eating comes from a living thing. Bread comes from wheat, the turkey comes from a turkey, olives, cheese comes from ox. They're all made of cells, and inside of every single one of those cells, there's DNA. Now, I need DNA too because I'm constantly making my cells. So when I need to rebuild my cells and make DNA, I need the nucleotides that are in their DNA. So I'm going to take their DNA, I'm going to deconstruct it with my digestive system, and then I can reconstruct this into any manner I want to make my DNA.